Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today we're going to talk about part 1 of In Defense of the King James Version of the Bible. Do you like the poetic flow of the King James? Do you find yourself enjoying the beauty of the King James, but sometimes you don't understand it because the words seem a little bit archaic and sometimes words don't mean what they used to mean? I am going to give you some tips today on how to read your King James Bible and understand it and be able to apply it to your life. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on understanding your King James Bible. Let's start with number 1. And this one is really true anytime you read the Bible or really any book, is consider the context. Many times when something seems unclear and you can't quite make out the meaning of the word, if you read the full sentence and really take it in, a lot of times you'll get to understand what that word means. For example, a really common one is, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And when you read it, it's like, I shall not want, I shall not want. But when you really think it through and consider the next group of verses, "He makes me lie down in green pastures, He leads me beside the still waters, He restores my soul," then you can pretty much conclude I shall not want means I shall not lack, or I shall be provided for. Number 2, and this one is a useful tool that a lot of people don't realize exists, and that is to use a King's Dictionary or a definition of archaic words or your textual footnotes that are provided within a Bible you may already own. First of all, the Schuyler Canterbury, in the back, you can see right here, has a dictionary of the King's English. And you go through that and it shows you the different meanings of archaic words and potential, as Mark Ward calls them, false friends. This is a real simple and easy way to eliminate any misunderstandings of words that have either gone out of usage or have changed meaning over the last 400 years. Also, the Humble Lamb Lion. As you see here at the bottom, it has a list of definitions of archaic words. Those are normally where your textual footnotes go, but those are actually definitions for words that have fallen out of usage or have changed meaning. And then lastly, some of your King James Bibles that have your modern footnotes within them, like for example your Thomas Nelson Sovereign, as seen right here, you will see certain footnotes, and those are indicated by a number like this. Then you slide down to the bottom of the page and you find that number connected to that verse, and as you can see right here, study can also mean to be diligent. These are all really handy ways to be able to still use your King James Bible and not fall into the trap of misunderstanding because of archaic words and false friends. But the third key to understanding is even more important, and that is knowing the difference between archaic words and false friends. For example, archaic words are words that have fallen out of usage. They are no longer used. For example, concupiscence. The average American doesn't know what the word concupiscence means, but it shows up in the King James and it's usually tied into lust. Sometimes context will help you. Sometimes you won't gain any clarity through context, so you have to go to a dictionary. And a lot of times, in the case of archaic words, a dictionary can help you if that word's in that particular dictionary. You can also look it up online, but false friends, they're a little bit more tricky because they are words that haven't fallen out of usage. They are words that have changed meaning. For example, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." Well, today mansion means a massive house. Well, that's not what it meant 400 years ago in the King's English. It just meant rooms. There are dozens of examples like that all throughout the King James Bible where a dictionary may not help you, so you have to learn the difference between a false friend and an archaic word. Fortunately, in most of your King James Bibles that are published today, you either have a King's Dictionary, a definition of archaic words, or you have those textual footnotes that define those archaic words or false friends for you, because those scholars have handled that for you. So that's a great tool. Make sure you use those. Number 4, and this is probably my favorite approach, is use other translations to compare. You may say, well, I only have a couple of Bibles. I don't have all these translations laying around. For example, like I do, I have pretty much every major and even some obscure translations that I use whenever I'm having trouble understanding. But Bible Hub is a great tool because that's all you do is you search that verse into Google, you click on the Bible Hub link, and it will show you that particular verse in dozens of different translations, and you can work through the words that you don't understand and get the meaning. Now, there are some archaic words like thee, thou. You can figure that out pretty easily using context. Even verily, verily, you can tell that's probably truly or amen based on the context. So there are some that you can figure out, but there are some that will stump you and you can go on not knowing what they're meaning and end up confused. But you just put in a little extra effort and you can get the job done. Number 5, make sure you keep a Bible dictionary handy. For example, I have this Vines Bible dictionary that I've used for years. for helping me understand words, and this one is keyed to the King James, and the Strong's Concordance, which is another resource that I strongly recommend that you have. There are certain study Bibles that have Bible dictionaries built into them. For example, the Keyword Study Bible from AMG is a wonderful example of that. And even a lot of times your commentaries in your study Bibles will go on and explain some of these archaic words or false friends to help you gain better understanding. But one of the greatest tools and resources that I have ever seen in helping with this issue is the Literal Word app. You can download it on your iPhone or your Android, and it has this perfect clickable system. What you do is you click on a word. If you don't understand the word, you click on it, and then it takes you to the Hebrew, Aramaic, or Greek word associated with it. You click on that, and then it lets you know how many times that word has been used in other places in the Bible. And you can scroll up and down that thing and look at every single instance and see if it's been used as a different word in the English in other places, and it really helps you in understanding. So, is the King James archaic? Yes. Is the English 400 plus years old and somewhat difficult to use today? And actually, it's not 400 plus years old. It's actually back from 1769. So it's a little bit more than 200 years old because it's been updated. However, I do think it's fair to say that the King James Bible is a little bit more difficult to use than some of your more modern translations. For example, I land with the New King James Version because I feel that strikes the greatest balance between the regality and beauty of the King James Bible and the modernization that we need so that we aren't dealing with archaic words and false friends. But if you're devoted to the King James and you love the King James and you're committed to that tradition of the King James, then no problem. Just make sure you utilize these tools to help you along just in case you don't understand. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.